Okay guys, I'm here today with my friend Paul Moran. Guys, Paul, it's a huge inspiration in my life because he's a black belt from Sergio Peña and I know him since 2011. And guys, in 2012, he found out that he had cancer. Where was the first one, Paul?
Started as rectal cancer.
Yes, and then it got worse and it spread out on his body. And guys, he's fighting really hard against the cancer since 2012. And it's awesome for me to see how well he's fighting against it and how well he's doing. I mean, like many times I see a bunch of people unhappy in life and this and that. Paul is having a really tough fight lately, but he's also still one of the happiest persons I know. So he's a black belt from Sergio Peña. That's one of the people I admire the most in Jiu-Jitsu and I respect the most. So today I'm gonna ask Paul here some questions about how he's dealing with this, how much Jiu-Jitsu is helping him, and this and that. So Paul, first of all, thanks so much.
Thank you
for this. I appreciate it. Guys, I asked him like 100 times if he would okay doing this interview, and this was something that he wanted to do it because he told me he wants to share more about how he's dealing with that to help other people who has the same problems. And yeah, Paul, how can you?
Yeah, so quick little background is, so I started as rectal cancer in 2012, and I did radiation and then surgery and some chemotherapy. And then when I was in recovery from my first surgery, they hadn't really looked at the scan before, but it had spread to my liver. So then I had to, I was on ileostomy bag, and I did more chemo, then another surgery. Then more chemo, then it came back to my liver 3 times, and then eventually it spread to my lung, and then to my lymph node. So I've had 3 liver resections, a rectal resection, ileostomy, and an ileostomy takedown, so I don't have the bag anymore. I had a lot of staph infections, a lot of craziness. And then in the time I also, I lost my ability to train as hard as I wanted to.
And I know that you love training.
Man, it's my life, right?
Yeah.
And I lost my job too because I couldn't work. I lost my marriage, kind of went through bad, and we just got divorced. But I lost a lot of things, but I gained even more. Cancer really gives you, it burns away all the stuff that gets in the way and makes you see what's really important and what really matters. And that's where you can start to build up your happiness and actually see what contributes to your happiness and health versus just going along with the idea that, oh, I'll be happy if I do this, that, and the other. You have to find out what works for yourself. So while I don't get to train Jiu-Jitsu as much as I like, if I hadn't been training with Sergio, I don't know if I'd have been able to fight the way I did for as long as I have.
I got it. Yeah, and I mean, like, you have not been training as much as you would like, but you were always very, very involved with Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
You know, and guys, Paul also owns the Open Mat Radio, that it's one of the nicest, like, radios for Jiu-Jitsu interviews and this and that. And together with Rafa, the son of Sergio Peña. So I think, like, just the fact that you're involved with Jiu-Jitsu, that's something that you love.
Yeah.
This might fire up you to fight hard against the cancer as well, right?
I always seen Jiu-Jitsu as given so much to me that it's not an obligation but an honor to give back to Jiu-Jitsu whenever I can, because without it I wouldn't be where I am, especially from Sergio. And his idea of just another lion to kill, can I tell that real quick? So when Sergio was in Brazil growing up, he went to Osvaldo Alves, very small but very hard gym, like samurai training. And first day he went to the gym as a kid, he got beat up. They went full punches, everything. But he kept coming. And eventually he got very good at Jiu-Jitsu. People would want to challenge him. So they would show up and form a line and just challenge Sergio, even if he was done in class and about to leave. But he'd always accept the challenge. And he said it didn't matter, he treated everyone with the respect of a lion, but he would kill them. And some days he'd pile 20 lions deep, and there would be a line of 20 more. And it didn't matter how big the pile was or how long the line. He dealt with what was in front of him, and he went through it. And that's every time I've had chemo. Every time, I have to take chemo every day, almost every day. every time radiation, surgery, it's just another lion to kill.
Cool.
Every
So you
time.
kind of use the same mindset that Sergio had when he was. Oh man, that's awesome. That's awesome. And guys, for those who doesn't know, Sergio Pena is one of the. I would say that he pretty much built Jiu-Jitsu out, because in the old times, like the Rickson Gracie times, was pretty much him and Rickson. Those are the two guys who would win all the tournaments and was the two most respectful guys that everybody would respect in Jiu-Jitsu. So nowadays, like, people only knows the people that compete Jiu-Jitsu today, right? So they don't know about the history so much. But it was pretty much like Sergio Pena and Rickson. Those are the two guys, like, in the old times, even before IBJJF.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I know Sergio a lot as well, and I have a lot of respect for him. And everybody say that he was one of the toughest guys to roll with. Like, there was like a open class world champions that would train for him, and I heard that he would tap them like 5-10 times. So, and but it's awesome to see like that you take his mindset that he had to compete, and you use yourself, and that's your mentality to go there and beat the cancer. So
well, I think a lot of coaches, a lot of jiu-jitsu coaches can teach you how to fight.
Yeah.
But there are not too many that can
teach you the mindset,
make you unbreakable.
I got it.
Know? So if you train jiu-jitsu just to learn jiu-jitsu, it's good. You'll be healthier, you can protect yourself. But if you use it as a tool to improve yourself overall, even when you're not able to be on the mats, it will still serve you.
I agree.
So I don't get to train like I used to, but jiu-jitsu is still a huge part of my
you're
life.
a black belt, so you have the mindset.
And I got my brown and black after my diagnosis. So while I was going through chemo, and Sergio doesn't just hand those belts out, you know?
No.
So he always made me earn it. And can I tell one story quick about...
Of course.
So before my first surgery, and they told me they didn't know I might be on the bag for the rest of my life, which would mean I could never train jiu-jitsu. So I always show as much respect for black belts and you know, coaches. So I never asked Sergio to roll. But I knew this was possibly my last time ever on the mat. So training ended, people start going to the locker room. Sergio, can I get one roll before I go to surgery? Of course, Paul, come. So he had two choices. He could make me like feel good and maybe fake a little, like get past his guard and feel strong. Or he could just be Sergio and beat me like he always beat me. And that's what he did. And I thanked him for it. Because he didn't treat me any different. Because life is not going to treat you different.
I got it.
So you want a challenge? Let's go. So I tapped maybe like a typewriter. Just tap, 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 tap.
I got it.
But it made me feel stronger.
Yeah, if he went easy for you, maybe you would feel like, oh man, he's going easy for me. He's really sorry about what I'm going to go through. Yeah, man, that's awesome.
So I always thank Sergio as major influence for helping me keep going.
No, that's awesome.
And I'll say one more thing real quick. When every surgery I went to, I brought one thing with me. And the one thing I brought every single time was the first time that Bernardo made patches. He was so happy to make his patches, and he wrote me a letter, and I bring that with me.
I remember that patch. I was in Germany, and you told me that you were going through surgery, and I went to the post office in Germany, and I shipped the patch for you from Germany.
Man, that
I remember that.
Been in many hospitals, many settings, and that's been source of strength.
No, man, I appreciate it. Yeah, guys, I know Paul since 2011. That was the first time I went to Sergio's school in Las Vegas. And since then, we became great friends. And Paul, you were telling me a lot about meditation as well, that you have been doing a lot of meditation. And I think the main thing here I want to talk with you is like many people have a hard time to deal with happiness, right?
Yeah.
They don't find the happiness. And I really like admire how you were dealing with that, because I never saw you happier than this trip that you did here. So how do you use the meditation for it? And
so there's I was telling Bernardo earlier, there's like as many types of meditation as there are guards or schools of jiu-jitsu. So you can use different ones for different times. One practice that I use almost every day is I start my day with gratitude. And I do either a gratitude journal or a gratitude practice that I find what I'm thankful for and how being thankful for that changes me. So, you know, I could say I'm grateful for our friendship. That's good on the surface, but saying I'm thankful for our friendship because we share knowledge. You make me stronger. I learn from you. It makes me a better person. That's like one extra step. So gratitude being the foundation of my day, you cannot hold anger and depression while you also hold gratitude.
I got it.
You can't.
I got it.
So if you focus and I choose the gratitude, these things seem smaller.
I got it.
And I invest in that gratitude. But it's just like practicing a guard or a sweep. If you don't practice it, why would it be any good? But you practice it and you put energy into it, and it will come back to you.
I agree.
Now meditation, most people think of just like trying to be blank and no thoughts, and that's so not what meditation is. Your brain's an organ, so if it stopped all thoughts,
you're dead.
You're dead. You're brain dead, and you don't want to be brain dead. What you want to do is recognize your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings, your physical sensations, but step back and see them for what they are, so that they're not running the show, you are. And when you're able to do that, you find really interesting things. You find like, oh, it's not having a job that has a title that makes me happy. It's what I did in the job, like working with people.
Yeah.
It's
how
not,
do you feel on that job, right? Like how?
Right.
How,
right. But we often think we get stuck on paychecks or material things, and it's usually not that genuinely makes us happy. So when we get space and we can actually see what makes us happy, then we can act on that and do more of that same behavior.
I got it.
But it's often not what we think. We might think like, oh, I want to eat a whole bunch of candy, but then you feel sick.
Yeah.
So instead you eat an apple and you go, oh, now I feel healthy. I feel good. I don't feel guilty about sugar, So it's, if you don't take the time to think of, oh, well, all my life I just eat a handful of candy. Well, that's your habit. That's your habit energy drawing you forward. Stop that. Try something different. See if it's happier.
Yeah, and backing up a little bit when you were talking about gratitude, we were just talking about it like a little earlier today, like how we should be grateful for what we have, because nowadays I think we live in this world that, especially because it's social media, everybody's always on Instagram, so everybody compares life, right? You see other people's life, and then you start comparing. But of course, many people have things that you don't have and you want to have, but you also have a lot of things that many people don't have. It doesn't matter which person is that. Maybe someone can be the richest guy in the world, maybe he doesn't have time and you have time. Maybe he doesn't have the friends you have, so I think like practicing the gratitude helps a lot, because you become actually thankful for things that you have, for not things, but for you know what I mean, right? For
one of the other things we were talking about at lunch was negative things are like 7 times stronger than the positive. So if we have an injury, we focus, oh, my knee hurts, but we don't say thank you to my elbow that works, my shoulder that works, my mind that works, So when we step back and realize how much is good, I've got cancer, I lost my job, I have amazing friends, I wake up, I can get through the day. There was one chemo that I was on, if I touched ice, it would be like mass pain. If I drank ice water, it would feel like ice freezing, radiate through my body. If I can have a glass of ice water now, it's better than any beer that I had or any experience, I used to have to take oven mitts to get things out of the refrigerator because my hands would get so damaged. Now if I can go into the fridge, that's a moment of gratitude. Like, thank you, I can do this without needing an oven mitt.
That's awesome.
It's wonderful. But we have to drop lower. We have to lower our expectations sometimes and realize that the things that really matter are not way up here.
I agree.
It's every day. It's walking on the earth.
And you were saying about the negative things are 7 times stronger than the positive, and that happens a lot for me. But I'm not even gonna say that's the negative thing, but sometimes I get so obsessed on trying to achieve something that I forget about the rest, and sometimes that brings me unhappiness, So that's something that I try to do all the time. Many times I try to stop and say, wait a second, there are a lot of good things going on, Like, even if this that I'm trying doesn't happen, what about all the good things that I have around here? And I think everybody has good things going on in their lives. doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter where you are, you have good stuff too. So you gotta focus on those good things as well. Keep trying to achieve the things you want, but also gratitude for the things.
Yeah.
No, when I mean things, I don't want to mean things, guys. I want to mean like the emotions, everything you have.
Your feelings, your thoughts.
Yeah,
your
feelings, your thoughts, all the good stuff. Your family, friends, everything. Like, and.
So I was gonna say about the drawing about the monk and the dot, right?
Yep.
So there's I follow a lot of Buddhism, and Thich Nhat Hanh is kind of who I follow, and he balances out Sergio. So it's like yin and yang, right? And one of his students told me a great story about, if you had a great big piece of white paper that was everything in your life, and you put one black dot on it, and that's all the suffering and bad. When you look at it, you tend to go, oh, well, that's a picture of a black dot, and only focus on that. And you forget all the white space. Because that's what sticks out is the pain. But if you really step back, and that's what meditation does, it gives you the space to see everything and not just the dot. And you made the great point that it's like looking at this and then...
Yeah, you can take a loop and see that thing huge, or you can look from away and see that thing very small, right? And then you see all the white. I do that a lot. Many times I put the loop in the problem and then see that huge problem. That's not actually like a big problem, Right. If you see away, if you see the big picture, it's not a big problem. But
so I always say breathe and smile.
Yeah.
So you have to breathe because that gives you space. And then you have to smile because sometimes, your happiness creates a smile, and sometimes your smile creates your happiness. And it's a lot of like mind over matter, and your attitude really matters. Another thing that Sergio always taught me is learn to rest, not to quit. It's like things are going to be hard. That's okay. Fight. Don't quit.
Learn to rest, not to. That was a good one.
Yeah. And it's jiu-jitsu too. You get to your half guard or deep half. You can breathe there, right? I get to close guard. I know I'm safe there. Yeah. And then collect myself, go.
And going, man, that's awesome.
But you have to know your positions, right? You have to know where you're safe. And then how to get there.
I agree.
So.
And guys, Paul, he told me that he wanted to teach more people about it, right? Especially those who are fighting against the cancers and that. But he was saying I'm kind of shy to do that. And I'm the one pushing. I was like, Paul, you gotta do that, man. You gotta, try to, I don't know, make a course, make a video, make anything you want, because man, you have a lot of knowledge to help people who are unhappy, people who are dealing with sickness, people who are dealing with any type of problem, You're the man, Paul.
But it's just funny because I never felt like I had, who am I to say anything to people? I have no titles. You
have the biggest style, man. You fought against the toughest opponent. You beat this opponent, man.
I like
because you're happy. That's the reason you beat him.
And I like to think another thing, not to keep going back to Sergio, but he always says if you lose a fight, we're gonna lose fights in our life sometime, right?
Yeah.
But make sure the other guy knows he fought you.
Yeah.
And that's what I do to the Reaper as much as I can. Death comes, they know he's gonna have to.
I really do respect a lot who is fighting against the opponent you are fighting. And in Jiu-Jitsu, for example, we have some few examples like João Gabriel.
Yeah.
He had cancer, I think the testicle, and man, he did 2 or 3 World Finals after that, ADCC Finals, and he did awesome. Lagarto from England, he had the blood cancer, right? And after that, he was able to beat Buchecha in one tournament. So imagine, those things really touch me a lot. So and you're the biggest example now, because you beat a lot of cancers, man.
But
you're still fighting against it. So
I've seen, every year we go to the Worlds in Pan to catch up with you and see you fight. And there are times that you hit the wall, and then there are times that you went through it. And no matter what, you were always stronger after the fight, no matter the result.
That's true. We were talking about it today. My business partner, for example, Michael Zenga, he had cancer too in the testicle, and he see life different, and I appreciate that. It's hard to measure happiness, but I think he's happier than I, because he doesn't get stressed with the little things. He knows what was a big thing, and he beat that big thing. So now little things doesn't stress him too much as well. So I bet you're gonna be happier than most of the people.
Well, and the one thing, it's hard to compare happiness and suffering. Because I have people come to me sometimes and go, "Oh man, I shouldn't complain. Look at what all you've gone through." And it's like, well, I don't know what your pain is. Maybe, you know, a broken finger to you really is the worst thing in the world.
Okay.
I don't know what that's like. So I can't judge anyone on their happiness or their suffering, but I can tell you there's certain ways to improve it regardless of where you are or where I am. We can always be a little more happy. We can always have a little less suffering, you know.
Yeah, but we have to work for happiness here.
Yeah,
like,
and we make the suffering our teacher.
The gratitude, practicing meditation, practicing things you like to do.
Service to others is a huge thing.
Oh, Paul, talking to you, I can see that you have a lot of knowledge about it. And you also have a psychology degree, right?
I used to be a school psychologist in Las Vegas,
Man, that's awesome. Yeah, you should work back with that again.
Yeah. I'm trying to take a little bit from jiu-jitsu and meditation and everywhere, just like you would make a good jiu-jitsu game. You have a good spider guard, good D-pat, this, that, mix it. That's what you have to do.
Thanks so much, Paul. Appreciate it.
Thank you for all the support, too. This guy's helped me through a lot. It inspires me.
Thank you, boy.